Hey guys, here at OS and VTXReviews.com. We're taking a look at the Photosmart E237 series, and this is one of the older HP cameras that they put on the market now. Hewlett Packard is usually, of course, a manufacturer of laptops and consumer printers. They don't usually make a lot of cameras, but this one is one of the ones that came out earlier on. It's actually released in around 2006, 2007, so it's a retro review in any sense that's appropriate. But the reason that we've decided to give you guys another look at this camera is because this is now one of the most cheapest cameras you can ever buy online and at any retailer. It's, of course, discontinued, but if you go on eBay, you can find this camera for like-new conditions at around $20 and under. And for a 5-megapixel camera with digital sensing, it's a pretty incredible price. And it's also one of the better cameras for a super budget as well. So let's take a relook at the camera that's now redefining how cheap older technologies can be, because for $20 you sure get a lot of technology and a good punch for your value. So if you're somebody who wants to buy a first-time camera for your kid or something like that, although this is only a 5.0 megapixel sensor, it sure is a lot better than any camera you should probably find on a 5-megapixel sensor on a smartphone or something like that. It does have a lot more crisper images, and of course you have that Xenon flash that can illuminate subjects in dark conditions. You can also record videos as well. On the design standpoint, it's a very rounded device. It looks very stylish, however it is superbly thick in today's standards. We have this gray and silver plasticking around the entire thing. You have this nice and protective lanyard cord on the left-hand side. In addition, on the left-hand side, you also have the battery compartment. And one of the disappointments of this model in particular is that it's only going to give you run on 2 AA batteries, which is pretty typical for cameras of this era and age. However, in today's standards, it's not very good. Thankfully, you can buy chargeable lithium-ion AA batteries very cheaply nowadays. So you can just charge your own AA batteries and use it that way. In addition, you also have a SD card slot. SD card can only accept up to 1 gig of memory, or so they say, HP claims, but we have tested memory cards that are 2 gigs and larger that have worked, so if you find the right ones, you are ready to go as well. On the bottom, you have a tripod stand. On the back, you have a 1.8-inch LCD display. The display is fairly small, as you might expect, but it's crisp, and it brings out a lot of what you probably would see after you load your images into your computer. So it's a very crisp, it's very bright and vibrant. You won't have any problems with this display under direct sunlight, and it isn't so small that you can't see your subjects as well. You can always zoom in on your pictures. You have a camera and a playback button. In addition, you have a flash, which can take you through the settings of red eye reduction and also Xenon and non-Xenon flash. In addition, you have a timer for self-portraits, and a forward navigation toggle and an OK key. So it's a very simple camera, because even at the time of the release, the E237 series was meant to be a budget camera for first-time camera users. It's got a great sensor again, but it's really simplistic, and that's what the main selling point of this device is. If you can realize, there's not even an on-off switch, and that's because the mechanical switch that slides open to reveal the camera lens is what activates the camera and turns it on and off. So it's a very easy-to-use device. It takes very fast photos, doesn't have a ton of features, but the photos that it does produce are, again, pretty damn good for the price. Alright, so what other features do you have here? On the left-hand side, you do have access to the mini USB slot that connects to your computer for syncing and placing your photos inside there. Inside, you have an internal 108 megabytes of memory, so you can take around 18 to 20 pictures before you have to get your memory card in there. Now, another unique differentiation of this product is that the chrome lanyard cord on the side, you have 2 keys for. One of them is a dedicated camera key, so you can take your pictures very easily. The other one is a dedicated video camera key, which allows you to have a dedicated button just to record video and shoot quick clips with audio that you can post on the internet, or you can watch for yourself, and those work fairly well. So now let's take a look at the actual performance of the device by turning it on. Now, an issue of these older cameras is definitely going to be its battery life. 2 AA batteries typically last you around not a lot of shots. You have to replace them fairly fast. A thing we found with the Photosmart E237 series was that the battery life was actually significantly longer than a lot of competitors. You can take an adequate amount of photos before you have to exchange batteries, or if you have rechargeable AA batteries, you can recharge them. So it's got good battery life, and on top you have a very, very bright Xenon flash that is very suitable, again, for darkening conditions. In addition, you have your precision sensor on here, and as well, as a micro to macro mode that you can switch back and forth depending on your subjects and your illumination. And of course, you can have red eye reduction and a little bit of image stabilization, not that much. You have to hold pretty still. Again, camera shots are really fast, though, which is a thing that we really enjoyed. Now, again, the actual performance, when you're focusing your subjects, the device does not look that good. You put your hand here, and it looks pretty grainy, and when you move it around, the image significantly lags and stutters. The interesting thing that we found was that when we actually took a picture of something, it actually, after you took the image, the picture quality was a lot better than what was being displayed on the screen. And then when we played back our images and loaded it into our computers, the image was really, really good. The same thing goes with video, with actual video capture. When you're holding around and preparing your shots, the entire frame rate just looks like it's going to lag and it's going to slow and just halt to an excruciatingly painful chaos and terribleness. But when you actually start recording, you'll actually find out that it's not that bad. It's actually fairly fluid for the lower resolution the camera brings, and the sensor is pretty good actually picking up at speed and not making your movements too jerky, which is something we found pretty impressive and a little bit strange. Now, you do need to set up your time and date, but after one time, it does remember your stuff unless you take out your battery for too long. It does have a little bit of a memory storage there. The D-pad was fairly easy to use. Sometimes, though, we found that it was a little bit hard, actually, to navigate back and forth. Some of the photos, the D-pad was a little bit, it's very tactile, but the processor underneath the hood is a little bit sluggish. So when we're actually moving between shots, it actually does stutter, and it does slow down a little bit, so just be wary of that. So if we take something like a Crammer Leapfrog learning system, and we want to take an image, preparing a flash, and let's just take an image and see how it goes. So that was the flash that you saw there. You can take this flash and turn it on and off. So let's, and we're done. So the flash loading time is very fast. You have an indicator to indicate how you're going on that. And there's the portrait. So let's just take a look at the photo itself. So it takes a few moments for the device actually to focus in and to zoom in. But after it does, you'll find that the image quality is really acceptable and it's quite nice. So let's zoom in. The camera, my camera is actually not doing this device justice right now. So zoom in even more and see if we can see the text Crammer sign. So yes, we can. So we can definitely see that this is a little bit oversaturated right now in this flash, but we could take the flash off and see if that might work a little bit better, hopefully. Well, let's try something different, like a piece of paper. That might be a little bit better for the subject. And let's just turn off, let's just leave the flash on and see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is definitely a lot more focused. It's a lot more high resolution than the last shot that we took. Let's wait for the image to get in there, and let's zoom in and magnify. And as you can see, you can read all the text really nicely. Again, I'm recording this using a camera on the screen itself, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get everything to display as properly as it should. But trust me on this, the image quality itself is actually pretty astonishing for the price and, of course, for the age of this product. It's actually a very, very good camera. Let's take a little short video clip and see what happens if we do that. And let's just record, again, something. We'll just press this button and it starts recording. So again, looks a little jerky now, but pressing that. Right, this is a video recording of this device. As you can see, the image is not jerky at all now. It's actually very instantaneous and fairly quick, as opposed to the jerkiness that we went and saw just a few moments ago. So now it's very smooth, and it's a lot more akin to what you actually want a real camera recorder. There we go. And it's processing the video, and it's done. So you can delete this directly, or you can go and watch your videos back. A thing I will say, though, is that this device does record with an audio microphone. However, you will notice that the device itself does not play back the audio clips with the sound. That's because the E237 series does not have a built-in speaker system, so you will have to put it into your computer to actually view it with sound. So that's just something to note. Now, one of the downsides of the camera is, although it's really good at shooting portraits and landscapes and all that stuff, it is a little bit not as good when you're shooting with people, because although it has a red eye reduction feature, unfortunately there's a lot of glare, and in all the shots that we've tested, we've noticed hints of red eyes in all the pictures, which is something that we've come across with all of these models and a lot of these of users that have used these products in the past. So if you're going to use this for a lot of family portraits and for a lot of vacationing for people and scenes, it's going to have a little bit of a glare on the red eye scene, so that's going to be a little bit of a downfall. But if you're using it for general usage, it is really, really good, especially for kids and teenagers. If you want to get something extremely inexpensive and that acts as a camera and a camcorder at a respectable price, a great manufacturer and something that can be trustworthy and easy to operate, the HP Photosmart E237 at $20 is something that's very, very hard to beat these days. So thanks for watching here at osandvtxreviews.com, and please read our full review that we posted way back in 2006 on our website. And yeah, thanks for watching.